July 5, 2026. I just left there. So I've got some real this guy was walking in that same spot when he was walking this way when I arrived. Now he's, oh, that's why. Oh my God. It's like that was planned. Cause look, and if he was walking this way when I arrived and now he's walking back, and that's why. And he was sitting here. I then walked back and he has 2 black kids. So that looks so planned, because when I was walking to the to Best Buy, he was walking towards me. He had just crossed that street, that drive that takes you to Best Buy. Then here I am, I'm walking out, and he was right here. And that's why, because he has 2 black kids with him. There is something that there is a group. I mean, on top of the rest of these freaking nut jobs who are absolutely tracking me with a helicopter, within that are Africans. A group. One of them is definitely Angie Kitcheries. And they react right away to what I say on YouTube, right away. So when I say I miss classy white people, these obsessed, absolutely obsessed men and women say, "Oh my God, how dare she say that?" Right? Because they're obsessed. So get inside of the mind of psychopathic, obsessed people. So then today, I'm getting the reaction. How dare I say my opinion? How dare I? Oh my God, right? But they definitely put people on the buses. A heavy set white girl entered the bus with a black guy. And so stuff is... all of this might be a coincidence, but no, I don't think so. And then the 2 black girls, she held up her phone. Next thing you know, the guy is over there with the 2 black kids. Look, you guys, have your lives. Get out of mine. Have your lives and get out of mine. Why do you want to show me a white guy with 2 black kids? What does that have to do with me? All right, so I had to go back to InstaWork because I need to earn a living. And integrated marketing technologies came up again with multiple jobs. So I went ahead and grabbed the jobs. And here are the businesses that favored me. It says F2 LLC and Premier Exhibit and Event Services. Now, it also said Integrated Marketing Technologies up until it says 3 businesses that favored you. I then go in, view businesses, and there's only 2. Because as of today, Integrated Marketing Technologies removed me from being favorited. And then what people are saying about you, Latrina Thomas, coworker. Okay. And then I have pending requests. And these are the pending requests. That Jolita S. When she was working with me, she kind of did a slip up. She was asking me about, people I dated, and I just mentioned, I really haven't had a relationship in a long time. And I mentioned someone who was the longest relationship that I had. And she said, oh, well, that's why you don't date. And I'm going, how do you know? How do you know that? And she then she stopped herself. So I want to know who that is. I saved a screenshot of when Integrated Marketing Technologies had me in as favorited. And I saved it last night. Well, actually, I saved it more than once. Oh, let me see. And now they removed me from being favorited after I chose the multiple jobs, which is really weird. Okay. All right. Now I'm looking for it and I can't find it. Interesting. Okay. So they removed me. They had me in as being one of their favorites. I then choose the job again, and they remove me from then being a favorite after I choose the jobs. Now, I 100% should not go back there because of Gail. I shouldn't. I don't want to. But I need to earn that money because I have nothing right now. And I have nothing because of these individuals who just won't leave me alone. I really want them to be caught up in it, and then to just be caught. I am looking for businesses. Let me see. I saved it to screenshot and now I want to find it. Yeah. So it was on there as being favorited by them. I then choose the multiple jobs, and then they decide to remove me as someone who's favorited. I should not go there again because they're going to screw with me. They are. Okay, so here's this one screenshot. Okay, it says 3 businesses that favorited you, and then that's just a job that I had when I was very young. That's the first place that I waitressed at, Sahara Club. Okay, now here's the next. Oh, that's my jobs again, and there it is. F2 Nutrition, Integrated Marketing Technologies, and Premier Exhibit and Event Services. Okay, now I'm now going to go back into InstaWork app, and I'm going to go into, okay, I'm in profile. I'm going to now go into this again. It's removed. So it was there yesterday, and it's been there. It's been there since I worked there. Now, I chose these jobs. I 100% do not want to go back there. I just don't have a choice. It's either that or I got to put a gun to my head because I can't pay for anything at all. Zero. So now here is my work. My shifts. And I chose all of these so that I can catch up. And it will give me $1,152. Okay, now, all right, so that's that. Another thing that I want to show is that here are all of the declines from the banks that I wanted a car loan, and so I went to car dealerships. I wanted to put $2,000 down from the gift that was left for me by my mother. And here's Wells Fargo. Okay. Here's the back. It's not possible to have absolutely no credit score. I actually read about that today. I thought before I'm showing this, 'cause I thought, how is that possible? It's not. It isn't possible. It is not possible to have a 0 credit score. So there's someone who has been screwing with me for 20 years all along the way. Every single thing I tried to do, they're there. Everything. And this has to be someone very high up. Okay, that's capital one. Very high up. For this to be possible, my bank account was hacked into. Capital One. Now, Capital One gave me a credit card to build my credit. With all these interferences, and I'm someone who has always paid my bills on time. But thanks to my father, that absolute piece of shit, and his friends. And my father absolutely set that whole thing up with that eviction, the whole thing, including bringing me down to nothing, the whole thing. I was making timely payments on my Nissan NV, which, by the way, that vehicle runs over 200,000 miles, so that thing is probably still running. That piece of shit hated me for standing up to him. He hated me for defending my mother. And I can guarantee you he is rotting in hell. I would still be driving that vehicle today. And I was going to, that was going to be my business vehicle, Organics on the Go. There's nothing on the back. I went to a few dealerships. I documented everywhere I was, so, but this is the pile minus the 3 that I just showed. But I'm going to show them all right now. And then I'm going to get to the next thing, and that is, this individual, it's got to be an African male. He definitely has a relationship to Mayor Frank Jackson. I showed yesterday that video. I posted it online. However, on top of that video, where I talked about leaving Best Buy yesterday, and I talked about the white guy with the two black kids, I have a huge gut feeling, and I've had this for a while, that there's an African. He doesn't deserve respect, because I really think he's making up some real sick stuff about me. So this nigger is actually saying some really sick stuff about me. It's pissing me off, because I don't do anything. I've absolutely never been with an African at all. I never would. I would 100% never, ever have a one-night stand, have like a little quickie. Never. Nope, not me. So after I get done with all of that pile, I'm then going to so I'm showing all of the credit apps in which I was told no. And this is still the same date of July 6, 2026. It is 1:01 p.m. and I had just finished with the PenFed credit app. Okay, I just finished with that, and then the camera turned off. So I wanted to show that again. Okay, there's nothing on the back. And just to show that I'm still in with the same, these are the ones that I've already shown. Capital One, Wells Fargo, Capital One again, Capital One again. And what I was saying before the camera shut off is, I think that he is claiming that I did have some kind of one-night stand with him. And those kids look like the same kids that came into the gym with Mayor Frank Jackson. They look like him. So I have all of these receipts. I'm actually going to show them online right now, because I'm hoping that within his 6 psychotic lie, those dates are somewhere in here. I document everything. I mean everything. Let me just give an example, then I'll continue with these credit applications. Let me just go ahead and just pull up a date. See? Let's say January 1, 2026. I cleaned my storage unit. January 2, 2026 was a Friday. I left for the day at 9:33 a.m. I dumped my garbage 9:38 a.m. to 9:40 a.m. 9:44 a.m. I turned east right on Perkins, Cleveland Police Department 9624 plate number, then turned onto Perkins and drove from behind me east on Perkins, because they're always right there. And I said, Unit 1031 African Slum Rat drove in to the storage unit as I returned. He was standing at the entrance staring at me as I walked out. So as I was leaving the storage unit, that African who had then rented 1031, who was spending a lot of time around my unit, who I recorded and put online. He was then at the front, at the back dock and the inside on the inside of the building, and he was just standing there staring at me as I was leaving. And then I said, after I dumped my garbage, I returned to the storage unit 9:46 a.m. to 9:50 a.m. Oh, and then I dumped more garbage at 9:56 a.m. because I cleaned out my storage unit. Okay, so all of that. Oh, God, this is so long. Okay. After I dumped my garbage, I walked back to the storage unit 10:02 a.m. to 10:11 a.m. Then I walked to Payne on East 30, 9:16 a.m. Another cop drove south on East 30 as I was walking north on East 30. I got onto bus 9, Cleveland RTA bus 9, at 10:20 a.m. to Som Center Road, number 4111. At 10:44 a.m., a African female with a filthy blanket and a pillow entered the bus. Now, that female, I then posted it online. I can't believe this is the one I picked. I posted it online because she actually lives at 3202 Sycamore Road in Cleveland Heights. And she's related to an African woman who works within mental health. So what they were doing is she came onto the bus for assisting these nut jobs who are stalking me to say, this is how your life is just not gonna move on. And the nut job of who owns this house works in mental health. All right, so that was a day when I followed her to, I followed this woman. And I called her a maggot, and that's why I paused when I was reading this. I said, well, maybe I might not say that. Well, forget it. She stepped on the bus at Little Italy Rapid Station. She sat directly behind me with a bald head and a filthy blanket and pillow. I walked into the bus shelter to wait for bus 40. She then walked into the bus shelter. She placed the pillow on the bench and had a smirk on her face. If you're going to plan something of stalking, don't smile when you're doing it, because then obviously it's going to give it away. Mayfield and Lee at 10:50 a.m. And that's when I found out where she lived. And I ended up at the Cleveland Heights Library at from 11:44 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And then I walked to Cedar and Lee at 5:39 p.m. I entered Cleveland RTA bus 11 to downtown at 5:50 p.m., number 3625. I arrived at Euclid and Stokes at 6:05 p.m. I boarded the Health Line, number 6009, at the same time. I arrived at Euclid and East 30 at 6:19 p.m. and then walked to the storage unit at 6:29 p.m. I arrived at 6:29 p.m. So I can pull anything at any time and tell you exactly where I was. All right, so now I'm going to continue with this credit, showing the stacks of the turned down letters in the credit application, because that doesn't look good, right? To receive a gift of $2,000 from my mother, in which that money was going to go for me to finally buy a car. Let me go slower. So I'm going to go slower. And I don't have a car. And then I'm being screwed with at every job, which has been going on for 20 years. nothing on the back. Integrated Marketing Technologies favored me for months. I didn't say, okay, I don't want to come back, but I have to because I don't have any money. And I'm taken off. I'm removed. Oh, we don't favor her anymore. Interesting. So that means that they're going to treat me like crap. Now, one more thing I also want to show. I'm actually going to just interfere with this for a second. There isn't anything on the back. I have these the subscribers on my YouTube channel. There's 46. A lot of them haven't. I don't know who a lot of them are, but the ones who I do know, who have shown themselves, are Emily Ballard, Scan King Kyle, Jeremiah 3322, William Dyer, A34 Drama Gold, Angel Caleb, Tim Telsrow, JLT, and Nikos Karadimas. 2 of them are doctors, Telsrow and Ballard. Don't know him, never talked to him, but they're subscribers to my channel. Ballard is new. Now, InstaWork, so first take a look at Angel Caleb. Remember that name. Remember, you know how I said how they send people to where I work? Someone within, let's say, InstaWork, or the job itself, one of the supervisors who then participated, will contact the individuals, one of them within the group, and let them know she's coming here, she's coming back, and then they'll send someone to then hurt me in some way, financially, so in some way. Okay, so that, remember that name, Angel Caleb, because now Angel Caleb, Integrated Marketing Technologies, and InstaWork just wanted everyone to welcome first shift for Nicole, CJ, Caleb, and Gabrielle are working. Hold on, because of that, let me just remove it away from this. Hey. Now Caleb, that's unusual. So I just thought it might just be a coincidence. It might just be a coincidence. Let me say it differently. Might just be a coincidence. Yeah. Okay, this is True Blue. This is from People Ready. That's what pays me. And I thought, when do I show that? Because if something happens, then that absolutely, and that's just for insurance, that absolutely then will have to do with this person stalking me who has interfered. This is another Orange Life. I think this is another insurance. Yes, that's what it is. Vehicle details. I found a 2018. I really thought, is this my vehicle? I really thought this was my vehicle. 2018 Nissan NV, was in Cary, North Carolina. with 20,187 miles on it. And I really thought, this is my vehicle, right? Yeah. I wonder if it was. All of this interference in my life. I'm not posting these videos for nothing. I'm posting them for a very specific reason. I want these people to be stopped. Okay. Okay. This is the back. So I have nothing. I don't have a credit score. Now, if I wouldn't be showing these letters, it would be like, what did she do with $2,000, right? And that's the point of doing this. It has to be why. It has to be why. This person is high up. Drive with Santander. They're the ones who I was making timely payments to when the dealership, God bless the guy, who gave me the loan for my Nissan NV that was then repossessed. Right? That's thanks to my father and his friends. They then turned me down. Can't blame them, right? They already gave me a shot. Yep. Once again, Aldo Calabrese Sr. and the rest of them burn in hell. So I'm going to continue. Ally Bank. And you think about brothers. Brothers don't even knock on your door to say, what the hell is going on between you and our father? Their father, no longer mine. I would have said, you know what, guys? I'm going to tell you. I'm really pissed off. He was putting our mother's stuff to the door. I haven't had time to look at it. I haven't had time to even grieve over anything, because I went from arguing with him to defend her to sorting through clothes to bury her in, arranging her funeral, stopping him from putting her things at the front door before I even had a chance to even grieve over it, to go through it, to reminisce. That thing that we need when we need to just, cry. Look at all this, cry. He was putting it all at the front door before I could even split it among the siblings. And so I said to him, the only reason why you have anything that you have is because she brought you into this country. She married him to bring him into this country. I said I should take everything that's hers and split it among the siblings. He said, go ahead. This was the last envelope, Ally Bank. So he was there with the movers and I. He went to, finally, he chose that date to finally go and put my mother's picture on her mausoleum. 2 pages here. 2 pages. And at first I was kind of nervous because I'm thinking, he's not going to be here on time. He's going to walk into the house and then claim, where's all the stuff? But that isn't what happened at that point. When he arrived, we were moving, the moving truck door was still open. My mother's china cabinet was right there. And it was her china cabinet. She brought it into that dining room set. That was hers. I didn't know that. She told me. She told me when he threw her out of her house after she told his brother to stop filling up his whore at their dining room table. And we were just starting to move her sewing table from downstairs to bring it upstairs and put it into the truck, into the moving truck. He looked around the house, pointed to my mother's beige cabinet with black trim and said, that's all I want. Let me see inside your house. Okay. I was recording. Now, mind you, the recordings that they then stole from me, that Dominic Coletta said she doesn't owe you any money, but take all of her property. Okay. So then he came into my house, and he looked at my house. He looked through the house, saw what I had, and said, okay, we're all good. He drove to my house with the movers and I recorded everything. And they had all of this. And not once, not even Michael Calabrese of 615 Bishop Road in Highland Heights, Ohio. Not once did they say, even Michael, you know what, my father is lying. Don't do this to my sister, my father is lying. My sister recorded everything. Michael didn't do that. Because Mikey thought that he was going to be really important to steal and lie. That was going to make Mikey feel important because he is so insecure. He is extremely insecure. He has never, ever felt good about himself. Now, I was there for the piece of shit more than once in his life. More than once. When he broke up with his girlfriend, Suzanne, he stopped eating. I was the one to bring him food at where he was working at a gas station. After telling my parents, you put this in a smaller bowl, because when he sees the big bowl, this large container, he's not going to want to eat it. It looks like too much. So I told him to transfer to a smaller bowl. I then showed up at his work and I said, this is going to be nothing for you to eat. It's very small. He ate it. I was on the phone with him when he broke up with Kim. After telling me that he sent her a ranting email, telling her he's never felt good enough near her. Now, if he never felt good enough, why didn't he break up with her? Because they were together for a few years. He sent me the same verbiage within a letter before I was taken out of the house, in which he said that he knows that I always thought of him as it's no good. Well,
I actually didn't. I never gave him a second thought during my day. Afterwards, oh yeah, afterwards I continue to have a lot of words, a lot of adjectives to describe him. But during that time, no, never thought of him. Never gave him a second thought during my day, because my day was my life. Always planning. I was always planning for my future and how could I get from A to B? How can I always planning? How can I get my cafe? Constantly. It was constantly on my mind. Constantly. This is one of the vehicles that I was interested in. Now, in 2026. Here's American again. Oh. Okay. So I already know now, as I'm thinking about InstaWork and showing this, that they're going to screw with me. And they've got someone there they're bringing in who's going to do the work. Maybe it'll be Caleb or Jolita, who knows? The last job, there was a girl who paid a whole lot of attention to me. And she wore a blonde wig and just stood there and just stared at me. That was set up. That was set up. She then claimed, oh, I just didn't take my medication. It could be true, but she was sent in. I don't know why she keeps stopping. See, I worked with her today. Just walking really slow. At one point she stopped. I was going to stay behind her. She's walking really slow. She's new to InstaWork, because when I was clocking out, she then said, oh, that's how you clock out? This has happened before, where when I walked past and someone I just smelled a skunk, so someone just had marijuana when they drove past, and I'm already really congested because of all this crap that the cigarettes and the vape and the marijuana that they blow out the window and smoke it on the street. I'm already really congested, and I stays that way for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So it's 5:06. April 23, 2026.
She was sent in to get a reaction. Ally Bank. Now at this point, I just stopped opening the envelopes. She was sent in to get a reaction from me, to get me to everything that they do. Even, you know, not doing anything for a while, making me believe that everything is quiet. They then bam, and that is to get me to say, you know what, you pieces of shit, that's what it's for. And it's a lot easier to say don't react than it is to not react, because of the fact that they have, what it connects to repeatedly is the interference of my livelihood. That is actually what I'm reacting to for 20 years. And you think about the fact that now the past 8 years, this is page 2, or yeah, it is, it's page 2 double-sided. You think about the past 8 years that Michael held on to all of the recordings that even prove the falsifications of my records by Dominic Coletta. It proves it. Because I document everything. And I handwrote it. Where now I type it in my phone. I didn't used to do that. I used to handwrite everything. A notebook. It's all handwritten. Since, gosh, I was a very, very, very young girl when I started. Very, very young. So my entire life is handwritten. And Michael has it. And he never came forward. That might not be punishable. Well, you could say it's punishable within the courts, but this is Cuyahoga County and they're just shit. But it's definitely punishable by God. Okay. So, as I'm doing this, I have all of those jobs, almost $1,200 with integrated marketing technologies. I don't want to go back, but people already stopped sending me jobs. Global lending. Okay. Nothing on the back. I don't have a credit score. Okay. did open this one. Ford. Okay. Now, this is double-sided. Okay. Now you turn it over. What it says. Your credit scores range from a low of 250 to a high of 900. Key factors that adversely affected your credit score, not applicable. No credit score. Okay. No credit score. Experian. No score obtained. Okay. I don't have a credit score. So this is at every level. Everything I try to do. Smart Energy offered me they thanked me for being a customer. Oh, that's laughable. That's really, I think they're just sending these out to everybody. Obviously, I'm not going to respond to that because I'm not all right, Chase. Okay. Not available from credit reporting agency. Okay. My credit score has been removed. That is the level of obsession that this person has with me. Every single thing I do, everything. No credit file. See that? No credit file. Okay. Okay. With that video, I stated in my video that I don't have a credit score, nothing, zero. I said, at least give me a 5 or a 10, right? Everyone's thinking, oh, yeah, right. I'm telling the truth. I have this many left. Telling the truth. And what amazes me is the fact that all of these videos that shows the hacking of my bank account, me calling, reporting the hacking,
reporting just everything, including the assaults. For the fact that it went nowhere, all of it. This is really high up. And yes, Dominic Coletta did involve himself. Now, if Dominic Coletta maybe is a relative of someone from HPL Stampings Incorporated, Mary Romano, sounds Italian. She's Italian. She was Italian. This page 2 I just put down. Putting page 1 back in the envelope. I don't know, but he's definitely involved because he falsified my records within Lyndhurst Municipal Court. I 100% have never, ever, ever, ever been involved with drug law enforcement costs or alcohol treatment costs, ever. Never. If I had that many drugs in my system, I'm not being conceited or nothing. I am just saying, I am 57 years old. I want to thank God for not aging me. But I guarantee you he would have aged me significantly, drastically, if I was a drug addict or an alcoholic. I would be aged very badly. Right? I even do my best to manage the swelling in my face every day, all day long. And it went down because of that management. I can't even say what I'm doing because they'll probably stop selling it. They'll probably call the store, you are no longer allowed to sell this. So I can't even say what I'm using that's working. And I'm sorry about that because I would love to tell you so that everyone can buy it because it's a beautiful company, but I can't because I need it. And I went to the FBI. I had like $1 here, $1 there that was being taken out of my bank account from a Cardinal Credit Union when I was with Cardinal. And I went to the FBI with that and I said, look at this. And I wasn't running them to them with everything. I was just telling them to compare it to the stalking, to combine it with the stalking. They told me to contact a government agency that had nothing to do with it. They also told me to contact the Department of Homeland Security. So what does that tell you? One of the things that they would say to me when I was talking to them on the other side of the fence was, I hear you. I hear you. More than one of them. I hear you. More than one of these FBI employees. So there's my credit score. See that right there? See this little box? That's my credit score. Okay. So anyways, all three, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. All three. So getting back to the I hear ya, I was working at Bob Evans. Really liked this job. Very good job. And everything was going fine. And then a guy claimed he started as the assistant manager. He claimed that his family had been in the business for a really long time. So I looked up his name. One thing that FBI agents do when they work undercover is they give a name of an actor as what is their personal name, their birth name. This guy had the name of an actor. Now I keep all of the, they're called chits, and that's the printout of everything that you do, you know, your time in, all of your orders. I keep those. My time in, my time out. His name is on there. the name that he used. But everything was going fine until he started working there. And then everything just kind of started going to shit. Now, there was an African female working there who was from the Kinsman area, and she was from the Section 8 Kinsman. And she causes trouble. She actually had a full-blown argument with one of the longtime servers there, right there in the dining room. She should have been told to leave at that point, but wasn't, which was interesting. Because then she gave me a hard time. I mean, she was doing some stuff. She's garbage as garbage gets. Montrose Ford. Their decision was just based on a vehicle type, make, or model, and or purpose not eligible for financing. Now that's weird. City. And then I'm going to get to the receipts. Oh, okay. I applied for a MasterCard so I could build credit? Unable to calculate or obtain a credit score. Okay. It had no part in our decision. I'm sure it did. So just so we know, I'm not going to write them any letter. So if they receive a letter I'm publicly stating, it won't be from me. Because I can actually see these psychopaths writing them a letter and saying, how dare you not approve me? It will not be from me. I promise to God. Like I said, they call for hours. I was shopping in for hours. It was a really nice little Italian store on Mayfield Road. And I was shopping there. I'd go there for bananas and some Italian crackers and stuff like that. Well, someone called them and complained about licorice. Yeah. So Ferrara's thought it was me. I was asked, did you call us about licorice? When I walked in one day, and I said, no, I didn't. So then I went to the register to check out, and the older guy, the owner, he sat back and didn't want to come to the register. I never called for hours. Promise to God, never called for hours complaining about licorice. They're closed now, which is sad because they've been there for years. Oh. So it is sad. I would have kept going there if they would have served me, but yeah, that was the last time I went there because I thought, well, this person hit me here too. This has been going on for a long time. That happened all the way back in 2016, 2017. When they asked me that, because it was before I got hit with that eviction. Limited credit history. Okay, press not. Credit score not applicable. Okay, Once again, these guys have hit me with everything, every single thing I've tried to do for my life. They're there. They're there. Everything. They've stolen money from my account. Thank God that my bank gave it back to me. Claiming that I purchased, and then I contacted, when I contacted Apple, all of those Africans who then ended up on the phone, that was not Apple. That was Cuyahoga County, because there's a lot of Africans in Cuyahoga County. You rarely hear that many Africans answering the phone when you call Apple. But there were a lot of them on that day when I contacted Apple, and I actually showed my account that I never purchased any apps. There weren't any apps within my account. And that when Cuyahoga County answered the phone, which could have been someone from the prosecutor's office or police department, when they came into, so that was actually a illegal hacking of a conversation. You need a judge's approval to do that. My videos are public. You see any arrests going on? Nope. And I reported it. Okay. So now I'm going to do receipts. So here's September. I'm going to put all of them here. They're not in order. I do have the other piles that are in order, that are older than this. But here's December. That's my monthly bus pass, 2025. Let's take in September and placing it aside. The fact that it's in an envelope tells me that this is organized. This is September, yeah. And it's organized in order. That's why it's in the envelope. Okay, here's Pilot. Oh yeah, you're reading that right. Yep, you are reading that correctly. Okay. Nothing on that. And that's January 4, 2026. Here is January 5, 2026, 8:07 a.m., Target University. Good and Gather, I purchased their distilled water and their purified water. I do drink distilled water. So I'm going to try this. Here is my old credit card. Okay, I shouldn't have done that. But my old credit card, my old debit card, after my account was hacked. My bank account was hacked. And the guy even mentioned something about me changing my debit cards. So he even knew that. So this is, and because it wasn't the first time that my account was hacked. Stefano's. They have the best focaccia pizza. I was there January 6, 2026 at 10:54 a.m. And it costs $9. I bought lotto tickets also. They charged me $12. And Tony, the owner, was there. He was standing right next to me when I questioned it. So it was $9. It even says it online. It's $9. But Tony charged me $12. I've never done anything to Tony, the owner. T-O-N-I, just a woman. Never done anything to her. Nothing. I used to ride my bike there and get Sky Bars. They sold candy bars, Sky Bars, and every cube was a different flavor. I would ride my bike there when I was a little girl. February 19, 2025, 1:20 p.m., Whole Foods. Lakewood carrot juice. Lakewood is organic orange juice. Jovial, that's organic. Soup, cannellini beans. It's jovial cannellini beans and tomatoes. Okay. I'm going to do my December pile and my January pile. December 24, 2025. Looking at for the 9:44 a.m. Once again, you are looking at that correctly. Yeah, that's what I'm down to. December 24. I'm going to put this in order. December 29. Target University Heights, 9:14 a.m. Milk is almond milk. GG, it's good. It's their Good and Gather water. I have things online in which I basically tell my full schedule. And I include the receipts. But this, doing this bullshit, is necessary because I took photos of my receipts, right? But this person can say, well, she photoshopped that. Well, they can lie, but you can go to any store and say, I need my receipt. Here's the, you know, and you can get a copy. Okay. So this person is really, really sick, extremely obsessed. This is really, really obsessed. I was going to play the video from yesterday when I actually recorded that guy and those two kids, but I thought, let me just finish this. This is a bus pass, a monthly bus pass, Cleveland RTA. December 31, 2025, 8:38 a.m., Giant Eagle at Mayfield Road. That would be the South Euclid one, I think, or 401 Mayfield Road. Yeah, South Euclid. Okay, and I said that was December 31. Yes, at 8. Okay. So I'm putting this together, and what seems like to me is that this sicko is married. I promise to God, I would never, ever, ever, ever date a black man. I would never have a one-night stand with a black man. The whole thing absolutely disgusts me. It just makes me really sick. No, absolutely not. We're not under, no, 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 no. I was in PA, and I bought those Starbucks coffees, the little glass jar coffees. Califia Organic, that's almond milk. Cheddar cheese, that's Organic Valley. And Walker's, that's the shortbread cookies. They don't use egg. They don't use soy. Okay. And that is April 6, 2026, 8:02 a.m. April 6. March 11, 2026, Giant Eagle, Parma. (9:09 a.m.) April, March. Okay. This is my makeup. And the fact that they will even attempt to take this to interfere. So why am I doing it? Because sooner or later someone has to use their freaking head. Oh wow, so I have two. Let's see, there we go. And why? Because my account was hacked. At some point, someone has to say, we're stepping in. Right? We're stepping in. We know who this is. We're going to get him. United Hearts mission to get some food, but everything contains soy. So I had to cancel. I went there a couple of times, but yeah, I can't stomach it. I just can't stomach it. All right, I can see this is Dave's supermarket. Cleveland Heights, 1940 Lee Road, February 16, 2026, time 10:43 a.m. I purchased a bus pass, a bus pass. And it might have been March. But it's a bus pass. The monthly. February. I'm not even going to bother putting them in numerical order because I have too many here. Okay, this is really worn out. So I'm going to put it close. Aldi. Chilled olives. February 17, 2026.
6:02 p.m. I'm putting them in monthly order. I won't do it numerical because I have too many. July 2nd, 2026, 7:26 p.m. Dave's. I purchased distilled water and their Itzio bread. Itzio, it's very good bread. That's the only bread I could eat. Because everything else, they put crap in it. May contain soy. Where this one does not say that. And they don't rub it in corn or anything like that. All right. July. Let me just show that date again. Okay. This is Heinen's. Distilled water. Looks like it's a banana. Banana, 92 cents. 144. 64 cents per pound. This was a banana, but it was an organic banana. Oh, it's a bag refund, 1 penny. Okay. February, March. I at least want to get it organized. January, February. Okay, we'll be there. And this is April, July, and March. Okay. And this is 2025. Okay. So I'm trying to organize the piles that are in front of me that I already showed. This is PA. And I was there because of jobs. Patagonia, that's organic cheddar crackers, organic cheese crackers. Walker shortbread cookies. Alpine milk chocolate, that's Milk Boy. Milk Boy candy bar. And this is April. Okay. And this I said was March. Yep. So I'm trying to keep them in order so I can just quickly put them down. January, February. Okay, this is Target. Rossford. Oh, I love Perrysburg. Absolutely love Perrysburg. Except the one day that they had these obnoxious kids come in and it was like it duplicated the obnoxious kids who come into the Cleveland Heights library and just cause absolute turmoil. I was surprised to see it there and I was just like, what the hell's going on? But other than that, I love, 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 love Perrysburg.
June. March, April, June, July. All right. I'm at an hour 5 minutes. I'm in a study room. Hopefully no one comes by and needs the study room. I'm just going to keep on going. I'm going to keep going until 2 hours. And then I'm going to finish this again at another date, like tomorrow or something. Walker shortbread cookies. Scott 1000 toilet paper. Malk organic almond milk. Okay, February. Dave's. Avocado ice cream. It's avocado ice cream. And Itzio fig honey bread. They stopped carrying it. It was on sale for $2 each, and now I think that they discontinued it. But that is good bread. You just got to watch, because the Cleveland Heights location, they won't take away the old bread. They'll keep it there on the shelves, and so everything gets moldy at this location. So you just have to watch. You really have to watch with them. Oh, it's March. Here we go, June. Okay, Aldi. Before I took a trip to, trying to think. I got a rental, and I went here because it was by the rental agency. And that's when I recorded those cops that pulled into the parking lot. And so I wanted to buy these few things. That's an Aldi bag, insulated Aldi thermal, that I needed before I left. And then they canceled the jobs. And so I got that rental for nothing. June 24. I worked a banquet serving job in PA. I liked it, but they were definitely sending Africans into that job completely there to cause trouble for me. Absolutely. And then, yeah, it did occur. That trouble absolutely did occur. And so one day, coincidentally, as soon as I stepped onto the Greyhound on my way back to work quite a few jobs that I had chosen, as soon as I got onto that Greyhound, we're talking, boom, they canceled the job. For anyone to know, when I step onto a Greyhound, Cuyahoga County Sheriff, Transit Police, is that Greyhound? Do they monitor the Greyhound? February 10. $6:30, 56, 36, 56, I think that says. But I journalize everything. Everything. Almond milk. Milk. So I bought more than one. Toasted cheddar crackers. Antioxidant force. That's really good juice. It's smart. It's called Smart Juice. Just a lot of water. Bag refund. Okay.
February. February's here. Okay. So this is how many I have left on that pile. I still have, let me just put this here. I have one more pile and then the orderly September. I might just do that another day and just keep this 2 hours, because I also want to fit in this Beecher mac and cheese. Simple ingredients, except I then found out that they feed their cows soy and corn, and so they're not 100% natural. Moala, that's Moala it's called. That's banana milk. It's really good. February 10th. I want to include that video with that guy and those kids, because in fact, let me just oh, my phone went dead. All right. My phone's dead. That's all right. I'm gonna post it separately then, separately from these receipts, because those kids, those African kids, really look like the same kids that Frank Jackson brought in to the YMCA when I was working out there in downtown Cleveland. And that white guy, those weren't his kids. In Italian, we call them Milano, because they're very, when a white male and an African female, or vice versa, have children, they'll be very light-skinned. So those weren't his kids. So what I'm wondering is, I'm just wondering this, right? I'm not setting anything in stone. Got 2 Cinnamon Crunch bagels at Panera Bread. So what I'm wondering is, hold on, let me just, okay. In that YouTube video that I posted yesterday, I stated the time that I entered the bus number, the white, heavy-set white female, and the African male who's entered the bus, okay? They weren't a believable couple. I didn't feel any connection to them at all. Although she talked like they were, I just didn't feel like a connection, between them. So I would say friends. Here's Panera Bread. I have 2. 8:34 and 9:22. Okay, both the same. So what I'm wondering is, they're not a couple. And the white guy is maybe her boyfriend or husband, who then had those 2 African kids. And then if those kids, if I'm mistaken, and those kids aren't the same kids, that they look like them, but they're just not, that Frank Jackson brought into the Y, downtown Cleveland, then maybe those African kids belong to the African guy who was with the white female who entered bus 9 yesterday. If I'm mistaken and they're not the same kids that Frank Jackson brought in. Okay, this is Cleveland Heights Library. I made copies. Oh, no. I took out a bookkeeping book. Yeah. And then I purchased that book. It's a good book. But I haven't even had the time to read it because there's constant interferences in my life. And I want it to end. I want all of this to put these pieces together. Okay, I've just been told I have to leave the room. Someone wants it. Put these pieces together and have them arrested. So I'm going to stop here. However, I am going to document exactly where I stopped and continue with this tomorrow. So I'm going to keep everything that I did so far. I have this pile left. Okay. I have this pile left. I always purchase from Zuzu Lux for my eyeshadow and other things. I still have September. And so I'm going to finish this tomorrow. No, I'm working. I'm doing those jobs for integrated marketing technologies. So I will finish. I will finish this. But this is what I'm going to post online so far. Unless what I could do is I won't talk at all when I then get out there outside of this other study room. I'll just show the receipts. I think that's how I'm going to finish this. All right. All right, this is July 7, 2026, 12:14 p.m. And I'm continuing with the video that I recorded yesterday that's titled Car Loans, etc. So here is another turned down letter for the credit application that I turned in at one of the dealerships. Putting it down. Only one second. Okay. And my receipts. Starting with March of 2026. Here is my March monthly bus pass. I'd like to be driving my Nissan NV, but that's gone. Long gone. I actually had these individuals telling people that I'm not driving because of my drug and alcohol problem that I don't have. I have a regular license with the star. That means I don't have any restrictions because the records that Dominic has posted within under my name in Lyndhurst Municipal Court are completely falsified. Okay, that's marks. Um, 3:10:26, 9:03 a.m. 3:10:26. It says 3 closeouts, unique pretzels, and a gum travel tote. Okay, hold on. Let me see. March 10. March 10. Okay. All right, I left for the day at 7:14 a.m. A drone hovered ahead of me, north, with a white light shining at me when I walked out of extra space storage. It then flew west and hovered. That was the signal to the helicopter. As I walked north on East 30, a helicopter flew from the direction of south to north, 7:14 a.m. to 7:17 a.m., March 10, 2026. I walked to Payne on East 30. I arrived there at 7:20 a.m. A helicopter flew on the west side, left of me, and then continued west and then hovered. I boarded bus 9, 7:22 a.m., Cleveland RTA to downtown, number 3806. I arrived at Superior and East 6, 7:30 a.m. I boarded bus Cleveland RTA 45. That's the Ridge Road. At 7:34 a.m., number 3503. See. Okay. Because I'm watching my words, I just wanted to read this ahead of time. I put the driver's side seat up on bus 45. The African female bus driver, Cleveland RTA bus driver 3503. I put the seat up on the driver's side, those fold down seats. I put mine up. And she said, well, let me put that seat down for you. Well, okay. I said, I want it up because I've seen the urine, the feces, and the vomit. She said, hi, Gina. I never told her my name. Never told her my name. And I said, am I known within RTA? And she said that she knows me from somewhere else and I was the same back then. From somewhere else. Okay. When? Where? Okay. I arrived at Ridge and Ridgewood 8:22 a.m. I walked to Mark's. I was there 8:26 a.m. to 9:06 a.m. I spent $14.89. I bought one pair of sunglasses for $1.50. Two pack of folding toothbrushes. That's the gum. Okay. Reishi black makeup bag for $3.99. The 2-pack of folding toothbrushes was $2.54 from GUM, G-U-M. I bought a waist pouch for $2.99 and the Splits unsalted pretzels for $2.99. Okay. I then walked to Parma Powers Library, 9:12 a.m. to 9:32 a.m. And then after the library, I walked to Ridge and Powers. I arrived at 9:43 a.m. I boarded bus 45 to downtown, 9:44 a.m., number 3914. At 10:21 a.m., a police helicopter hovered above me. I arrived at Superior and West Prospect at 10:22 a.m. So I arrived at Superior and West Prospect, and bam, there's a police helicopter. I boarded bus 11 to D. Myers Parkway, 10:23 a.m., number 3317. We left at 10:34 a.m. Let's see, between 10:50 and 10:53 a.m., Cleveland RTA African male bus driver stopped the bus and exited the bus at the maroon and white building that used to be a church. A passenger asked him if he was going to pull off. He said, "We're early," and his cell phone kept ringing. So I think he just wanted to answer his cell phone call. So 11:06 a.m. to 11:12 a.m., there was a change of shifts at University Transit Center. I arrived at Cedar and Fenwick, 11:26 a.m. I walked to University Heights Library, 11:29 a.m. They opened at 12 p.m. I was there from until 7:07 p.m. 11:46 a.m. A helicopter flew over the library towards Whole Foods while I sat outside on the step. 7:11 p.m. I boarded Cleveland RTA bus 11, number 3346. An African male on the bus, he kept repeating that an 11-year-old girl said to him, "You think you have a big dick." Cleveland RTA bus 11 driver didn't tell him to get off of the bus and allowed him to continue to talk that way. 7:39 p.m., Community College Avenue. The fire truck had the siren on. Bus 11 to downtown at the red light with two vehicles in front of the bus. The light turned green. The siren could be heard. Cleveland RTA bus 11 driver beeped the horn at the vehicle in front of the bus that was stopped for the sirens that were clearly heard. And the Cleveland RTA bus 11 female driver drove around the two vehicles and was about to cross the intersection when the fire truck passed us. And once again, that was Cleveland RTA bus 11 3346 to downtown. And then I arrived at East 22 in Euclid at 7:47 p.m., at which time a white male lit a marijuana cigarette at the northwest corner of Euclid and East 22nd as soon as I stepped onto that corner. And I arrived at my destination, which I think everyone by now knows where that is, at 8:07 p.m. So thought I would just give that rundown of my day because so I could just show what were the closeouts of that purchase. All right, next is March 13, 2026, 3:01 p.m. Okay. JMB No Win Purple Tote, $1.49.
Okay, that must be a toothbrush. And 7th generation baby wipes, $3.69. The Smart Juice antioxidant force, distilled water, Walker's shortbread cookies, and I received a discount for the 1-cent bag. Target, March 13, 2026, 12:16 p.m. I purchased 2 packages of water wipes. They no longer sell 7th generation baby wipes anywhere, so if they were discontinued, I'm really surprised because those were really nice wipes. Dave's Lee Road in Cleveland Heights. I bought Itzio bread. Fig bread and then the regular bread. Okay. March 13. Days. 2 organic exchange milk chocolate candy bars. That's what I purchased for $4.99. And 2 Itzio fig and honey 14-ounce bread for $2.99 each. So the candy bars are $4.99, and the Itzio fig and honey bread, 14-ounce, are $2.99. Very good bread. But I'm glad I checked because I was wrong as to what it was. And then March 13, 2026, 12:52 p.m. Whole Foods, Cedar University, organic sweet cherries, plain yogurt, and Milk Boy baby bar. Denny's Restaurant, Youngstown, Ohio. Let's see, what's the date? 3/15. Okay. And what time? Oh, it says a.m. 2:27 a.m. (3:15:26). Okay. So I worked a job from 8 a.m. to 12:42 a.m. through People Ready in Youngstown. It was a banquet facility. And Okay. From there, I went to Denny's, 1:26 a.m. to 3:05 a.m. to waste time because I then needed to take a Greyhound, Pittsburgh Greyhound, at 6:05 a.m. Okay. Pittsburgh Greyhound, 6:05 a.m. to 1:57 p.m. Because then I got a long time assignment in Pittsburgh, which was really beautiful. And I ended up in Pittsburgh for quite a while with these jobs. Because then the job was actually extended, which was awesome. But don't get your hopes up. All right. March 27, 2026. See that date. Let me make sure. Target. What's this date? March 27. Let me verify. March 27. Okay. Yep. I was there from 8:30 p.m. to 9:19 p.m.